Recently, the Argentinian government announced new renewable energy targets. This target is 8% of large consumers of electricity having to have their electricity coming from renewable energy sources. Now, what this equates to, although the target's been set at the end of 2017, that might come quite soon. And so approximately by the end of 2018, there'll have been $2 billion of new investment in the country. Currently in Argentina, there's 200 megawatts of solar PV and wind, and this first round of auction is targeting 1 gigawatt. That's including 600 megawatts of wind, 300 megawatts of solar PV, and 100 megawatts of bioenergy and small hydro. And over the next decade, there are some estimates that say the target could be 10 gigawatts. Some of the issues involving credit risk, infrastructure problems, and also security personnel risks. On the credit risk exposure, for quite some years now, Argentina has been on the brink of bankruptcy, and as a result, its foreign investment has been reluctant to enter the country. However, recently there's been a new trust which has been set up, and it's backed by the World Bank, and that's going to alleviate some of the issues and get the credit risk absolved on the PPAs. In terms of the infrastructure, as was seen in Brazil with the new wave of wind energy projects, the transmission and distribution line network wasn't set up in the right time, and so with this new influx of projects, Argentina will need to ensure that the infrastructure is in place for the electrification of these new projects. And in terms of the security risks to the country, with new personnel entering into new territories whilst they develop these projects, there is a heightened exposure to security risks such as kidnap and ransom events, which companies will need to be aware of.
The security risks environment in Argentina is evolving, and there is a high level of insecurity and criminal violence currently. Extortion crime is in fact one of the key risks, and for companies operating in Argentina, whether they have local nationals, expats or simply business travellers, such as the renewables and power industry, they should really be focusing on this risk. Express kidnapping is key, and we're seeing a significant increase in these sorts of extortive crime events over the last 12 months. An express kidnap, or in Spanish secuestro al paso, is a short-term kidnap, usually under 24 hours. And how it differs from a long-term kidnap for ransom is that there's no third-party negotiation involved. Typically, it can happen where someone is walking along the street and they are kidnapped off the street by a criminal gang and taken to various ATMs to withdraw cash. It is very much this short-term incident, minimal negotiation, and often for smaller sums of money in comparison to a longer-term kidnap for ransom. All clients operating in any country worldwide have a certain element of duty of care that they owe towards their employees, whether they're local national employees, business travellers or expats. With Argentina in particular, we all know that express kidnappings are a risk, and therefore corporate clients should be providing sufficient education as well as training around these sorts of incidents, primarily how to handle this type of event and how to react in that sort of situation. Yes, you can insure against this type of risk. That's the short answer. Typically under standard K&R policy, an express kidnapping will be excluded because it's seen as a robbery type incident. But our clients can actually liaise, and they should be liaising with their broker to make sure that the express kidnapping part is added on as an extension. And this can be typically done from anywhere from $50,000 of coverage up to $500,000 of coverage, just depending on the locations and their exposure.